And I remember thinking, this is my day. I'm going to die today, and I truly thought that I was going to die, so I gave up.
The Texas flood that just killed over 120 people. It wasn't the first, and it won't be the last. Let me show you why. This week, the Guadalupe River swallowed camps, homes, and entire communities in one of the deadliest floods the Hill Country has ever seen. Flash floods hit so fast, people barely had time to react. Water rose more than 26 feet in under an hour. At Camp Mystic, cabins and kids were swept downstream before anyone could reach them. Whole families were trapped on rooftops. Rescuers in boats and helicopters worked through the night, pulling people from trees and overturned cars. But here's what you need to know. This place, this exact stretch of Texas, is known as Flash Flood Alley, and this isn't the first time it's happened here. Let me take you back. In 1987, almost exactly 40 years ago, another flood hit Comfort, Texas, just a few miles from where this week's tragedy unfolded. A girls' summer camp was caught in it. Floodwaters ripped through the campgrounds in the middle of the night, killing 10 and sweeping 33 others miles downstream before rescuers found them. Then, in 1998, one of the worst floods in Central Texas history struck. That October, storms dumped more than 20 inches of rain over just a few days. Rivers rose, homes vanished underwater, and 31 people were killed. It covered cities, towns, and ranches all the way from San Antonio to Austin. And then, in 2015, a Memorial Day weekend that no one in Wimberley will ever forget, the Blanco River rose from a peaceful trickle to a raging monster overnight. 40 feet of water crushed everything in its path. Homes were ripped off their foundations, entire families vanished, 13 people died that night. And those are just the biggest ones. There have been floods here in 2002, 2007, 2013. Even just last month, in June 2025, a smaller but still deadly flood killed at least 13 in San Antonio. But why here? Why does it keep happening in the same place? It's the land. Central Texas sits on limestone hills and rocky soil that can't soak up much water. When storms dump huge amounts of rain, it all runs downhill into narrow riverbeds. The rivers, the Guadalupe, the Blanco, the San Marcos, can only hold so much, and when they can't, they explode over the banks. Add to that the fact that more and more people are building homes, camps, and businesses right along the water. Every time a flood happens, people rebuild in the same risky places. More pavement and concrete also mean less ground to absorb rain. And these storms, they're getting stronger. Experts say climate change is already making these downpours heavier and more frequent. This week's flood showed us just how unprepared we still are. Despite better weather alerts and faster emergency response than we had in the 80s or 90s, people still didn't have time to get out. Some didn't even know they were in danger until the water was at their door. But it wasn't all tragedy. Rescuers saved thousands, pulling kids out of trees, hauling families from rooftops, even carrying elderly neighbors through chest-deep water. One man was found 12 miles downstream, clinging to a log, alive. Still, at least 120 people didn't make it, and hundreds of families are left grieving, asking why this keeps happening. The truth is, we know why. We know this is Flash Flood Alley. We know the rivers will rise again, and we know more storms are coming. The question is whether we'll finally take it seriously. We can stop building in the most dangerous zones. We can strengthen warnings and improve evacuation plans. And we can respect the power of water, because it always wins. This won't be the last flood, but it doesn't have to take this many lives again.